Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Heel Podcast with your hosts, Scott and Mike. So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Gen V, moving on to the latest episode of Peacemaker, and ending with a character spotlight from me. So, let's get right into this and talk about Gen V. Um, so, do you now know what I was talking about last week?
Yeah, yeah. Someone I was not expecting to be in charge of everything. It's like,
So, I will say, I was not. The clip I saw was actually the flashback, but I didn't know that at the time, obviously.
okay.
So, to be fair, so when I saw them together, I was like, oh, so she's behind all of this. For
hmm
obvious reasons, right? Because of who she is. So, we're talking about Sister Sage. Um, and I just found that to be funny because I legitimately, like, and I told Mike this. Was like, I want to tell you, but like if I tell you, it kind of gives away a lot, even though realistically, and I'm not wrong, it also doesn't give away a lot either, which is the weird thing.
Yeah, it's like
It's like it
you
gives a
you
lot,
would
but gives nothing at the same time.
absolutely no. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, how does she have a hand in it? Whatever, because obviously she's not doing anything just because it's the goodness of her heart. So it's like,
No, correct. So one of the big things is we see a flashback from what I believe was when Cypher became the new dean of school, is what I'm assuming. Because they never specifically stated, but it sounds like that's why he was kind of like it was like 5 months ago ish, and I think that's when he
yeah,
like moved into the dean's house. So anyway, we see him clean up the burnt body, um, in every shape and
still don't know
form.
who it is.
I have theories that we'll talk about in a minute. Um,
We talked about it a little bit last year, so unless you have more theories,
you mean last week, not last year?
sorry. Yes,
I was gonna
it's
say
early.
if we talked about it last year, man, we are good. So anyway, so he dips him into this like pool of what I'm imagining is like a bunch of like liquid to kind of heal the body is kind of what I was thinking. Like
Mm.
nothing I could think of specifically, but like just in general. And then Cypher and Sister Sage decided to have sex in front of him so he could watch.
Yeah, and he was he was eyes glued. It's,
So I'm gonna
one of those things. Whenever they show those kind of scenes, and like the person is just sitting there unwillingly, and like expecting him to be like trying to like get him to stop, and he just zoom in on him, and his eyes bulging out of his head. I'm like, all right.
so I what was that?
Apparently, I had a fluff on my shirt that was attached to my beard.
Okay, no, I thought it was like a bug for a second. But anyway, so my thought, just so you know, is that the guy in the tube is Godolkin.
Yep, we talked about that last week.
But I have a no, but I have a newer theory. So still same person. However, Cipher is not Cipher. What I mean by that is, let me finish. Godolkin's powers is to take over, and Cipher is the guy who he's using as his like avatar right now.
Yeah, as soon as you started saying that, as soon as you started saying it, I was like, "Yep, that I know where you're going with that. That does make a lot of sense, and it would make sense why he wants Marie to be as powerful as she is because he wants to be able to control the most powerful soup there is,
Correct.
and obviously they want to make sure this stays under the bus
Well,
from Homelander.
I had another theory too, along with this, and we really can't go into it until we get later into the episode. So I want to hold off, but I have other thoughts that although you're not wrong, like I do agree that he wants to take her over, but I think he has a different purpose for it. Um, um, and it was revealed at the end of the episode. So, um, basically, this was the most biggest. This one messed with me the most because every time something happened, I was like, "Why is this happening? It doesn't make sense." And then they made it make sense real quick, and
Hmm.
I got to give them a lot of credit, a lot of credit, a lot of credit, because they purposely put Kate in the prison just to have them go in and try to rescue her, just to be captured. And I will say this: the capturing of them was the quickest I've ever seen anybody get captured, because it was legitimately flashbang and then wake up in a prison cell, and I was like, oh my goodness.
I like that then when they revealed the vent was blocked off. They're just like, "Oh my god, it's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!" They just sat there like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then like, let the explosion go off, and it's like, "All right, you could have probably just backed away a little bit quicker there." But you know, it's just
I know, but now I'm wondering, like, was there somebody else influencing them to kind of stay put, type of thing too? Because, like, was it a shock
maybe.
thing? Again, I'm not saying for sure. I'm just more of like, I think they were gonna try to figure out what they were gonna do next, and then kind of like, oh, too late. Um,
No, I know. It's just in my head. I was like, there had to be some kind of sign that there was something there that would go off, or or even just knowing the fact that they knew it was a trap. It's time to retreat, not just sit there because you're in very dangerous territory and they are already skittish.
correct. So anyway, they're now locked in prison, which is hilarious, and I still don't understand why Emma was in a plastic container.
I assumed it had something to do with her powers. That was like I don't know why.
Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it,
Oh, because she can't escape. If she gets out of the collar, she can't escape.
I think the idea was they needed to watch her more just in case, like physically watch her instead of being in a cell. So they had
I
to
mean,
like,
that's true.
um, that I didn't think of that one right away.
I mean, the thing is, the plastic container she's completely sealed off, whereas the prison the actual prison cell she could squeeze through the bars somehow.
I was also gonna say, I was also gonna say the fact of like them also not being ambushed by her, or like they'll see, like hypothetically she got out of the collar and everything else.
Hmm.
Because weirdly enough, if she shrunk, the collar would have fallen off of her, so it would have been useless.
Yeah,
So I
or if she
imagine,
got big, it would have broken off.
yes, potentially,
Theor-
theoretically,
Theoretically,
because she could have also killed herself too, depending on how strong they made
yeah, I
her.
was yeah, I was
Um,
about to say that.
so I'm wondering if they just did that for like visually, like, okay, we need to make sure we just see her size at all times.
Hmm.
Um. Anyway, so that she's with Kate, which I find to be hilarious. And then Marie and Jordan are together in the sense of the same cell block, not the same cell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, the interaction between Kate and Emma was hilarious. Just like, you guys came to save me, yeah, and it worked out great for us, as you could tell. So can't wait to figure out what's the next plan. But and she's like, well, what is it? Right now, we're doing it. We're sitting here. We're just gonna take it.
We're gonna sit here and rot forever is basically Emma's mentality at this point.
Yeah, this was the big one for me. So while this is all going on, we had Polaris speak to Cypher, and we finally got the scene that shocked us all, which was the knife to the throat. And he says, "If you're gonna do it right." And he grabs the knife and stabs himself in the hand. And I was just like, and then of course Polaris is like, "I don't know what to do now."
Yeah, because she's completely stunned. Obviously, the
And ruins a
power game.
beautiful steak.
It's an expensive steak to just throw it away.
Well, you kind of had to at that point. You got
I
you
mean,
got Cypher's blood in it. I'm not eating it.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just
I'm not.
saying that
It's
was
a
an
it's
expensive steak.
it was a very much
That
expensive steak.
that that cut of steak is like $400.
Also, why is Cypher always eating just like protein shakes?
I'm assuming it has to do with their situation, like the that whole situation that he's under, whether
Oh,
he's under
oh,
control
like to
or
not give him
control
pleasure,
himself.
like not giving him pleasures.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm
Didn't
just
think of. I didn't think of that. I
I don't
just
know.
meant like
I'm just trying to think. Like I'm just trying to think of like because we get it. We get an idea of. And now when I say Cypher's power, you know what I mean in the sense of like because we don't fully know if it's actually Cypher that has the power.
we're going to let's for the sake of what we've seen
It's
assume
Cypher.
it's Cipher.
No, it's Cypher for now. I'm not disagreeing, but his power right now apparently is to manipulate another person's body. And
Hmm.
when we finally see him in the prison, granted covering his wound away from Marie, which I thought was kind of cool. Although also not afraid, which is also another weird thing too, but whatever. Basically tells Jordan that you were the easiest one to take control of because it fit like a glove. He goes,
She had the so it seems like he could control people based on how strong their willpower is, and it seems like
which
Jordan doesn't have a lot of willpower. That's how I took it.
that no, I am 100% agreeing with you. 100% agreeing with you. Which is also why I don't think he wants to completely take over Marie because my thought is so anyway, they spoiler alerts. I don't know why I'm saying it now. I've already said a lot. So
After 10 minutes of just chatting.
they try to escape, okay? And what's hilarious is Kate starts the escape route. She turns off her collar, then kills the guard in a way that she didn't want to, but sort of worked.
It worked. I mean, you also miss an important part. I mean, to get Marie to kind of
Oh, that's right. That's
bend
right.
bend the knee.
I'm sorry. I was going to talk about the second part of seeing her. So we got to talk about the first. So Marie gets brought over from Cypher to basically show like why she should do what he says. And we find out Annabeth is in the prison cell.
Yep.
And she goes to wanting to kill Cypher and he just sets the shock around her collar and drags her away. Oh, and they also gave her a blood thinner so she can't coagulate her own blood.
Yep, that's right. I
And
forgot about that part. Yep.
I did too, but I had to remember that. So she can't cut herself and use her own blood because it just bleeds out. She can't hold it together, which is also interesting. Um,
Yeah.
so that gives us more of an idea of what her powers are capable of.
Or at
What
least at
she's
the
actually
moment.
controlling. What she's actually
Yeah.
controlling is what I should be saying.
Because if she, I bet if she actually gets more control over power, then she might be able to do like control different densities of blood and whatnot. So, but at the moment,
Agreed.
because she's
Agreed.
so
But
inexperienced.
I'm saying you're right. And for right now, she is not obviously.
Mm,
Um, so anyway, so she then gets brought back. She then tells Jordan what's going on, and then bibbity boppity boo, we have Emma and Kate who are now running to go save those two. Which, by the way, there was no other prisoners in this place. By the way, and no
no
other
other prisoners,
guards
no other guards except for the one that just got brutally murdered.
by himself
Yeah, brutally suicided.
involuntarily, which is a whole weird concept to think of in itself. But anyway, we then have them run to them, and then I forget who it was. Was it Jordan or Emma? No, I'm not. Sorry, not Emma. Was it Jordan or Marie who was like, "Why is it that we've not seen anybody?"
Jordan.
Thank you. It was
Jordan
Jordan.
is like, this is too easy. This doesn't make sense.
All right, we gotta go. Then we gotta go find Annabeth, and then we run towards Annabeth, and her throat is slit, and she's dead. But not for long.
Cl- so that's the thing, though. Like, well, actually, no, never mind. Because I was going to say she wasn't dead. She was in the process of dying, but it's possible that we don't know how long she was like that. So she could have been brought back, and it would have been fine. So I kind of answered my own question. I apologize.
Yeah, but that's kind of my point. They left it ambiguous for a reason, because the
Yeah.
idea is to figure out what her true powers are. But either way, it was healing. She was actually able to heal her sister, right? Granted,
Yep.
causing apparently a blood tsunami in everyone else around her.
Yeah. Everyone else was in extreme
They
pain.
were literally like getting their blood bended inside of them, shaking and everything else. And then bibbity bobbity boop, we have Annabeth breathing again, and that's how the
You
episode
really,
ends.
you really like the bibbity bobbity boop tonight, don't you?
Yeah, I'm also in a better mood, so I don't know. I'm feeling happy. But anyway,
Oh,
um, so one thing we didn't discuss that is extremely important was Sister Sage made it very clear when she saw Cypher in the prison. Um, apparently she's also in charge of Vought completely now.
yeah, that's what I meant. Like she's the one in charge of everything.
No, I know, but like now we officially know that at that point.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like here's the thing: it makes sense because of how smart she is.
It makes total sense. Makes total sense. However, still shocking.
Yep.
And I was talking to my nephew's uncle on his other side, and we were talking about this, and he's like, yeah, he goes, the big thing for him was the fact of like Sister Sage is going to be the one to replace Homelander as the big bad for the universe after season 5.
Probably.
And
Yeah.
like I even said to him, I was like, I'm not stating that Homelander is no longer going to exist after season 5. They made that very clear. However, I feel like she might be the big bad already.
She's the one controlling the puppet. Like she knows how
Correct. Like
to.
he's going to be the bad guy. Like visually, like to the world, he's going to look like the bad guy. However,
Yeah.
she's going to be the one with her hand up his butt, going, "I'm a fascist."
Yeah.
Um,
No, and we already saw signs of. Obviously, we saw signs of that in season 4.
no,
So
no, for
like,
sure, for sure, for sure. But like, I think it's going to be even more apparent in season 5, only because without her, he would have lost everything.
yep, yep,
So Maria, so my thought process on why, because there is one piece that we didn't talk about, which is Sam and his parents. We'll talk about that in a
yep.
minute, because I don't think that was as important as everything else, for
It
obvious
gave a
reasons.
little bit more backstory on the character that we didn't know too much
No,
about.
no, I 100% agree, but I meant like for the obviously plot, it wasn't like the major part. But
Yeah.
the reason why I feel like the plan is not to take over Marie's body, okay?
Hmm.
Because the way that they are making it seem is her will is too strong, right? Or
Yep.
will,
Yep.
because the other thing that was mentioned too is Jordan was able to see everything that was going on, right, while Cypher was inside of her.
Hmm.
So she also could feel what he was feeling, okay? So I think this the idea is Marie would, because of her power, would be enough to make him go pop,
Yeah.
even with him inside of her. I don't know what would happen with that, to be honest with you. I'm just stating in general, like, I don't think he wants to go in there.
Hmm.
I think the idea is he's going to have her heal the guy in the tube,
Yep.
and then he'll be. So basically, if it's Godokin, right? We're
Yep.
all assuming it is, right? Granted, we don't know for
Yeah.
a fact, but like he was the creator of everything, right? Almost everything. Um, like he was trying to make the V stronger than what Vought had. Okay, that was kind of the plan.
Yep.
So my thought is that's not good.
What happened?
I got a bunch of bugs on my plant, and I don't know why. Anyway, backing up for a second. So the idea is just the fact of like I feel like they they because we'll just say they for right now heal the guy in the tank, and then we have the brain power of the of Vought basically um, to come back and fix everything.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
Granted, like it's
could
still a
work.
villainous thing because the
Yeah.
idea is he's the perpetrator of all this to begin with, but then the idea would then be that he, um, you know, because they wouldn't ask her to do something that was inherently bad. The
Mm.
idea is she'd be saving somebody.
Yeah,
It's easier to manipulate somebody to do good than it is to have them do bad. Weirdly enough.
absolutely.
So it's
No,
like the
obviously, yeah.
the idea would be having her do this good thing of saving somebody, and then you know what I'm saying. That's my thought right now. That's my thought process of the whole thing.
What's interesting is that it it like if Jordan, you might have said this, and my dog was distracting me because she's dreaming and she's running around. But um, if Godolkin is controlling Cipher, and he and the pain that Jordan felt might not have been from Cipher, it might have been just the pain of Godolkin in general because of how much he's suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which
then
is
that
also a
means
kink.
that
Which is also a kink. I want to make that clear. It is. We saw it. Do not irritate me today. You know I'm right.
But I'm just, do you need to go take care of those bugs? It seems like they are
You keep
very.
talking.
But anyways, it's one of those things. It would have been one of those things where it. I thought it was interesting that it could that feeling could transfer from being to being. Um, and like Scott was saying that they could have Marie heal potentially Godolkin. Um, and I wonder what that would do for his powers. Um, I think that would be it might be one of those interesting things, which I'll explain to Scott when he gets back if he doesn't hear me. Um, One of those things where the person's powers are based on their pain and suffering. So, like, if he got healed, would his powers go away because his powers only work because of the severe injuries? Um, there are a lot of ways that they could go with this, and I think uh, there's really no right or wrong answer because anything that we say could be correct or could be incorrect, and uh, it's quite interesting, these twists and turns. I God, is he coming back? But I guess until he gets back, we could talk about Sam and his family. Sam decides that he's going to go visit his parents. He decides that he's because no one was home, he's just going to break in, and he's just reliving the memories because he hasn't been there in many, many, many years. And when he's exploring, his parents end up finding him, and they are very shocked. I don't know if it's an act, but his dad seemed quite excited to see him, and his mom was terrified. I am assuming that when he was a kid, that he had a severe outlash and hurt his mother. Um, and they go down memory lane, and it seems like his father is very accepting of him, and his mother is quite scared. Um, One of the things that I said while you were gone, um, I'm interested if Marie heals Godolkin, if that is him,
Mm-hmm.
and like we're talking about how he's controlling Cipher.
Yes.
Um, I'm wondering if his powers are tied to his injuries. So if Godolkin, if Marie quote unquote heals him, would his powers go away? Because there are some instances where people's injuries and whatnot are power related. So I'm wondering what kind of twist that could be. Because like I said, with Jordan feeling the pain that he was going that he was experiencing, I'm wondering if like that's correlated.
No, it very well could be, but I also wonder too that because his power, like so, like what we saw with Butcher and everyone else is like they had the temp V. So like I wonder if I feel like his powers will still work. They just might. I'll say it this way: he might have a harder time using it in the beginning because he is so used to the pain.
Yeah, Also true.
and he needs a minute. I'm also curious who Cypher actually is
Yeah,
because he's not gonna be of any use.
I bet if uh I bet if that is Godolkin and he's controlling Cypher and Godolkin gets healed, he's just gonna kill Cypher. You know, it's not. He's just somebody
But
filling the
this
void.
this also explains why Cypher doesn't have any V in his blood.
Correct. Yep.
Um,
Like you said, like you said, he won't have any use. So
but also that his powers have long range.
incredibly long range. Like,
Just a thought process in there. So I'm wondering if there's something else that needs to be done too. 'Cause you know how some people's powers like can't just just automatically do stuff. I'm wondering if
mm.
there's like something else that needs to happen too. But it doesn't matter at this point. But no, the interaction with Sam and his family was so uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely. And like I didn't like I was saying is that his father seemed very excited. His mother seemed terrified
Terrified.
of him. So I'm wondering if when he was a kid, obviously he did something and like just accidentally attacked her, which ended up scarring her and his father not really knowing what's going on.
Well, I
Um,
also think too she saw how mentally unstable he was probably to begin with. Because remember, he had mental health problems before the V. They used the V to
yep,
try to see if it was gonna help heal him mentally.
yep, yep. It
And
just made it worse.
well,
Kind
I'm
of.
gonna say it this way: it made it worse because when he breaks from reality, he causes more damage now.
Yeah, yeah.
However, I don't think it actually made any impact whatsoever of his mental
Yeah.
health, other than
No,
the isolation, which obviously did not help. But that was not a V thing; that was a Vought thing.
that was
Um,
Vought society.
no, I'm not disagreeing whatsoever. But I also liked how Sam was like, "Oh, so I was gonna be this messed up no matter what."
Yep, especially after telling the story of his uncle, apparently, which
No, I know. It was just it was a nice moment, but a sad moment at the same time, because he got to realize like they weren't giving him V to try to make him like the V didn't break him. He was already broken. In his
yep,
his words, not mine.
yep.
But
I'm curious with the way his father and mother were acting. I wonder if his father was a little bit a little bit uh, uh on a little bit on the spectrum himself. Just because of like when he saw his son, he got very excited, he got very giddy, and I can like I said, I can kind of understand that in terms of because he didn't really know what was going on. It seemed, and he didn't have the harsh experience like his mother did. Um,
well, I also think that the idea was their son was dead to them, and then they find out he's alive, and this is the first time they've seen him since they found out he's alive,
yes,
like
but it's
physically in
still,
person. So it's like I feel like
but the difference between his mother and father is still very severe differences.
yeah, but I also think it has to do with the fact of I think you're right, but I don't think I don't want to phrase this because I want to make sure I phrase this correctly.
Yep.
She's seen what the mental health in her family has kind of happened. He has not. So like he has an idea based on what his wife has told him, but
Hmm.
has not seen it in person. Like he's seen what his son was doing, but to him that was just a little boy. Because remember, he
Yeah.
was young when he was taken away and killed or
Yep.
died.
No, yeah. No,
And
I
so
understand.
like
I think my thing was just because his dad seemed more his dad seemed more childish. So, and it could have been like you said because he hadn't seen his son in a while and he was just very excited and this is how he used to interact with him years ago.
well,
So it just
I think it's a
picked
combination.
up where he left off.
I also think it's a little bit of ignorance as well, because the idea is when you know that there's somebody who has something wrong with them, you talk to them normally like a child. especially if you've never dealt with that before. And it is an inherent thing that most, if not all, humans do. If you've never had the
Yeah.
interaction with somebody, whether it be a mental health issue, a physical disability, or a mental disability, or even a developmental disability, the idea is as people, we treat them as children without not necessarily trying to do it in a mean way necessarily, but the idea is it's like, well, they're a little different, so they're like children, and it's not, it doesn't always click well. And so I
Hmm.
think that's kind of what we saw there, because the
Yeah.
mother had the experience with the mental health because of her brother.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's fair.
so that's how I took it, but I also, because of that, it's, I think that also has to do with how, like, what I've done for work. So like
Yeah. No. No. You have way more experience with
so
this
like
than I
so
do.
like
So.
my whole thing is that's how I took it, because the dad really didn't have much experience with the kid having those fits, and I don't
Hmm.
think the mother had many like interactions with the kid having the fit. One was enough to kind of be like, oh, I know what's going to happen now. Where, you know what I'm saying? Where the husband
Yep.
was just like, oh, this wasn't that bad, type of thing. But we want to make sure he gets help, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So
Yeah. No. I understand what you're saying now.
yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
again, like I said, you could. I'm not saying you're wrong. You
Hmm.
still could be correct. I'm just stating, like, the way it looked like to me was a father talking to his son who he doesn't quite fully understand, so he goes to the child, like, because that's like everyone's default.
Yep. No. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But very well done. I have to say, story wise, like, it it was very interesting, and also the paranoia from Sam was also there too, which I liked.
Yeah.
I'm also
And the
curious.
not caring for Kate.
I was less surprised about that.
I don't know because
I was
it was like it was one of those. So like I understand him not wanting to go to Elmira. I understand him not wanting to take the chance. I was surprised because of his attachments to certain people, so that he had gotten an attachment to Kate, that he would want to try to protect her. But at the same time, like you said too, I'm not surprised because he found out that she was manipulating everybody
Well, yes, but then she was also keeping secrets from him, and the fact that she wouldn't use her powers again, granted he
to
was
help him.
correct to
Yeah,
forget certain things.
I forgot about that part.
So,
Yeah,
like, all that combined, I was just more surprised he didn't just help out just to help out, in the sense of being like, I don't care that it's about Kate, I'll come and help regardless.
I
But
think that's going to happen anyways. But I
I
think
don't know necessarily. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, obviously, I wonder when he, like, if he goes back to school, right?
yeah.
Is he going to notice that they're all gone and be like, uh-oh, or is he going to be
Hmm.
just like, I don't really care?
I think
Oh, and also, can we also talk about how his ex-girlfriend, the most recent ex, was the girl with the healing factor, which is also terrifying to think about.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their own kinks.
I guess. But yeah, I mean, overall, great episode. Next episode, oh, there was one thing that Cypher did in this episode, which pissed me off because it was so well done. It was a fourth wall break. It was, we're gonna reveal Marie's full potential next episode, and it was
Oh,
it was in a conversation. I believe it was either, I think it might have been with Polaris, maybe. I cannot remember who he was talking to, but what got me was just the fact of, like, him, the way he said it, being like, "We're gonna find out next episode, or stay tuned for the
I d-
next episode, and we'll see Marie's full potential." And it was like him being a jerk, but then I was
yeah.
like, it fits because we won't find out
I don't I
until.
don't th- I don't think that clicked in my head.
Oh no, it clicked in my head at the end of the episode when we didn't actually get fully revealed of exactly what happened technically. Like, we know
Yeah.
we know, like, she healed her, blah blah blah, and then all that stuff. But, like, I feel like we're gonna learn everything next episode. And Cypher just doing that messed with me so much at the end. Even though he
Yep.
did it
Yep.
so much earlier in the episode.
Yeah. One thing that I was curious about is if Annabeth is a victim or a participant.
So I am going with a victim because Sister Sage brought her as the gift
Yes.
or the
That's kind of
present.
where I'm
Okay,
leaning.
so
That's
that's the
kind of where
present.
I'm leaning
Mhm.
as well. But with these people, you don't know. And if it is true that Annabeth has such a hatred for Marie, I'm or fear at least, I'm wondering if they were able to like as it is like bringing her in unwillingly, but also be like get her willingly. Like, hey, if you help us, we'll get your sister for you. You know. Um,
I'm gonna go with a no because she didn't want to be anywhere near her sister. It felt like based on what the aunt was talking.
I like I said, I don't think they really revealed the full
That
like full thing of it.
I don't disagree.
So like,
I don't disagree. You're absolutely correct. I'm thinking though, against her will, she has no knowledge of what's going on.
yeah, yeah.
I think
And
it's
like I said, that's where I'm leaning to. But I think it would be a insane twist if they went the other way with the other
to be
route.
put it this way. I would not be surprised either way, but I'm going with a no.
Hmm. That is fair.
Um, yeah, it's just so well done. But let us move on to Peacemaker.
Which was another incredible episode. Like,
So, I just love the reveal in the very beginning of the episode where Hardcourt literally goes, "You didn't notice?" And he's like, "No, it's not that obvious." She goes, "Really?" He goes, "Like I'm supposed to notice somebody's flag." She goes, "What about the photos? What about the books? What about the mural?" "Oh, I definitely
he
didn't see that." She goes, "It takes up the
just.
whole wall."
I love his response was literally just like, "How the
How
hell
the
did I
hell did I
miss
miss
that?"
that? And it's perfect because he's like, "Yeah, it's hard to miss." Like everything else I will give him was easier to miss
Yeah, if you're not paying attention to the flag, you
because
you know it's
it
just the
looks like
flag.
correct, correct, correct.
I-
If it's not
If you're
Morocco,
not reading the books, it could be any book,
yes.
that. But the mural right there, right in your face, there ain't no way you ain't seen that.
And I just like how him going, yeah, that's really, really hard to miss. Oh well.
um,
And I just like how he breaks up with the other one, and then she's like,
yeah,
"Why?" And it's like because of what I'm doing, and then starts taking out security like it's nothing, and then they're running away, and I don't know why, but the guy with the paperwork gets pushed by on his face, and it's just the funniest thing because there was no reason to push him whatsoever,
just cause.
just cause. And then we had the opening credits, blah blah blah. So then we go to the downstairs, and was it? Yes, it was there first because he then decides to use the jetpack to blast through, but because there's extra weight, messes up
He
the
doesn't know how to
trajectory
control it. Yep,
and smashes hard into the wall and into
into
the
the ground,
into
into a
yeah,
car.
causing a lot of damage. And then in true Chris fashion, he's like, "How big is the portal? How big is the door that you have?" I don't know why. He's like, "Cause I want to fit the peace cycle in."
I want to take my
Um,
ride. I mean, it's a
pretty
cool
much.
bike. I
And then
can't
they
take
drove.
that away.
I am not disagreeing, but it would make no sense to take it. Um, but anyway, so they then drive away, and then we see Adebayo um, getting still chased, and then finally tries to swim away to get away from them all. And then Judo Master is there with a telephone wire and pulls her out, and then electrifies all the zombies. I mean, no, Nazis, not zombies.
Nazi zombies.
I was I was thinking of Call of Duty. Um, so anyway, then they go to an empty house and they begin to discuss what's kind of going on. So one of the big things too is
They
there's
bond.
concentration camps all over the world. Yes, but there's all over the world of anybody who is gay, person of color. There was something else. There was like three things that they mentioned
Any minority
or
group.
didn't agree. Any minority group, but it was also like anybody against them too. Like it was like very kind of like specific. Like it was like a
Yeah.
third one that was like not like the others, but like at the same time, like didn't agree with us, so they need to be removed. Um, and so yeah, so that's the whole thing. So they continue their conversation there. Economos is tied up, scared, out of his mind. And then we have
Before you
Judo
move on,
Man.
I wanna point out that Judo Master Adebayo is like, this is the most people I've ever killed in a pool by electric shock, and he's like, yeah, me too. It's a new record, and just
No, no, he said that.
creepily.
No, he said that, and then she goes, "How?" She goes, "What's the second most?" And he goes, "4."
I was like, this is a little creepy. I'm not okay with this.
And yeah, first time I've ever been like, okay, I was thinking it was gonna be like 0, but no, it
Yep.
was not. It was not 0. So yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. It was just it threw me off to no end. I'll say it that way. For
But
sure, for sure.
yep, like you said,
Um,
Economos is tied up.
we have we also have his like at this point we don't really know what's going on with the dad, right?
Hmm.
But he gets really mad at Keith for chasing after a person of color,
Hmm.
saying we don't do that. I thought I taught you kids better than that, um, which was obviously very much a foreshadowing of later on.
Hmm.
Um, and they then go looking for Chris, um, and they realize also that Hardcore might also be one, just because she was wearing pants, and he's like, "Pants? She wears pants?" And they're like, "Yeah, Dad." Oh shit!
I.
And she didn't know who Halloween was, and he's like, "Oh man, there's a lot of them. I guess we gotta figure this out."
It's just like, I've known this girl for 15 years. She ain't ever wear pants. Like,
Oh God, I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, while they're going away, we then have Argus, who we see another person from Superman,
yes. Yep. It was
the
his.
creepiest one of them all.
Yep. His name was Sidney Hopperson. That's his name.
Okay, and he basically is like, why am I gonna open a port? Why am I gonna figure out where this portal is for you? What do I get out of it? And I just like Rick Flag being like, because your boss told you to. Do you want me to tell him that you can't do it? No, 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 that's all right. I'll do it.
Yep. That's perfectly fine. I will do whatever you tell me to do.
No, I will do anything he tells me to do. Thank you.
Yep.
um, which also makes me question what else is the deal with Lex, because there's more that we don't know for obvious reasons.
Absolutely.
Um, so I'm curious about that, but that's not important right this second. Um, did you see the after credit scenes with this guy?
I actually did not. That's the only. I did not see the after credit scenes. I forgot about it.
So like
This is the one after credit scene I didn't see.
so what I will say is like obviously he talks about how like Rick Flag makes it like apparent like he's going to be using him a lot, so he might have some more like free time type of thing. One of the big things is just so you know, because the after credit scene is about this scene basically after they leave.
Yep.
He basically states, "Are you going to still be standing there?" Like one of the guards, and they're like, "We have to keep watching you the whole time." He goes, "That's fine. I'm going to be watching some heavy duty porn, so I hope you don't mind." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh."
That's funny.
We never see obviously any of it for obvious reasons, but the idea is
Yep.
like I've been in prison for a while, so I'm going to be looking up some nasty stuff.
That's funny.
So I thought that was a little interesting. So anyway, we also get the location, which is obviously they find out that it's one, it's a very stable portal,
Hmm.
and it's at well, they don't know that it's at Vigilante's house, but it's at they know the location of it,
Yep.
which was so just well done. Um, what else? What else? What else? So we go back to the world, and it's a lot of back and forth between Economos is crying and trying to get Eagly to help, and Eagly does not help.
Yeah.
Well, he gave him a
Eagerly
string.
just
He
does
gave him a
not
string.
care.
He gave him a string. But the idea
What
is
is
like,
that gonna do?
you're the dumbest animal ever. And so we have that, and it's just funny to me because it's like he's really trying to get Eagly to help, but Eagly does not know what's happening fully.
Nope. He's just like, oop, food, oop, games.
Basically. So anyway, we then have Judo Master and Adebayo agreeing that they're going to figure out what they're going to do. Then the vigilantes agreeing that they got to go, excuse me, find Adebayo because she's a person of color. Which, by the way, funniest interaction ever of like, oh, technically one of my friends is black, and he's like, oh, can you not tell? And they're like, oh no, you that's the first thing you notice about her, and it's like, oh, we got to go help her out now. And I just find that hilarious because it's just a typical vigilante thing to do, like say and do, but it's just so
Is
funny.
technically, what do you mean technically? It ain't no technically, it is.
No, I know, but it's just so funny because even the other one's like, oh, so it says like somebody like you can't fully tell, and they're like, oh no, you can tell, and he's like, ah, we gotta go save
Yeah.
her. So then Blue Dragon and Captain Triumph kill all these cops that surround Peacemaker and Hardcourt, kill them all, and then tell them to go follow them back to the house, and they do.
Hmm.
Well, we don't know exactly how they get to the house. They could have been picked up and carried, but I'm thinking
Either way,
less.
they're at the house.
Yeah, I'm thinking less likely just because of how Keith is feeling right now.
That's fair. I want to point out that when he's on the phone with Keith and saying like something's, or was it on the phone or was it in person? I think it was over the phone because when they were together, everyone was together. He was, the Blue Dragon was telling him about how I think this is something I didn't tell you. I was exploring and I saw the other universe are doppelgangers and
No, this was
something.
this was actually before they left to go get Peacemaker. So this was when they were all suited up, ready to go, and this is when Eagly comes in to like, and then Economos is trying to get him to kill him, and
Yep,
it
yep,
clearly doesn't happen.
yep. No, and he's explaining about how the doppelgangers are a lot more sick and twisted than they are, and like something is wrong with them, something is dark in their universe, and I'm like that's so messed up to say from from a Nazi controlled universe that our universe is more messed up than theirs.
But remember who he saw though,
Yep,
and I think that's
I
the big
know.
that's the big key there, where he saw his alternate version of himself, who is exactly the opposite of him.
Who's what his universe him and his universe should be technically.
Correct. That's kind of my point. So anyway, um, yeah. So then they're all together, and Economos is just trying to be like this. I don't even know what to describe him as right now, but he's like trying to be the good guy by being like not. I don't know who these people are, and they're all like they already know. Like shut up.
I like no. He first starts it off by like, guys, what are you doing here? We have to get
I've
out of
never
here. And then he's
seen
like,
these
no,
people.
I've never seen these people before. I have no idea who. It's like
And I'm
you.
like, you literally could have said anything else, and you would have been fine, and you had to ruin it. Um,
I love him. It's so funny.
it was so perfect too. And like I also like that even in this universe, that dad doesn't like Peacemaker either.
Yeah, yeah. In a sense.
And I just find that to be hilarious because I was like, you know how your brother was. No, Dad, how was my brother? And he's like, come on, you know, he was like doing all those drugs and stuff.
He was always looking for problems, always getting into drugs and drinking, and it's like,
He's like,
all right.
I like how he goes, but you know, I loved him. He's like, did you, Dad? Though, did you really?
Doesn't sound like you did.
Honestly, the funniest and also greatest interaction because even in that universe, they don't that the dad doesn't like Peacemaker.
He wasn't. I'm not going to say he didn't like him. He was disappointed in his choices, but he still loved him as a father. Unlike in our Peacemaker's universe, he just didn't like him at all. Like he didn't give two shits about him.
That's fair. But yeah, overall, just so well done. And then I like how she calls, so Hardcourt calls him a Nazi, and he's like, I will not be called that. He goes, I am anything but a Nazi. He goes, I am just trying my very best to stop the injustices that I can. He goes, maybe in your world you have the luxury of fighting all the injustices, but in here, I don't have that luxury. I have to fight the monsters and creatures that are right in front of me. He goes, I can't beat everything all by myself. Which is also kind of awesome.
It
Like
was
that's
like
not.
a double that I felt like that speech was a double-edged sword because or actually kind of went three ways because in their universe they can't fight all injustices. They try, but they cannot fight everything.
Correct.
Whereas in this universe, he has the ability to fight the injustices. He might not be able to stop all of them, but he picks and chooses which ones he wants to protect.
Hmm.
So, yes, he's being a hero, but at the same time he's also being a coward because he doesn't want to stand up for he doesn't want to go against the government. So, it's
Because
like
I think it's because of the fact that he thinks he'll lose, and I don't disagree with that statement in the sense of like I do feel like he would lose. However, the idea is when you do that, it's not about winning or losing, as weird as that sounds. It's about standing up for what's right, and he's
yep,
not doing that. And I think that's the big thing.
he's willing to reap the glory by living in a fancy house with in luxury instead of standing up for what's right, and he sits there saying, preaching preaching on a high horse. um so it's like he means well, but he's not willing to stand up for his beliefs, I guess.
Nope, I don't disagree. Nope, you're absolutely correct, 100%. I think that's the big thing. Don't disagree with you whatsoever. Um,
And then he gets stabbed to death by a vigilante.
yeah, so well done too.
I was seeing some comments. It's like, if this guy was so powerful, how would he get snuck up on by a vigilante and just brutalized? It's like, dude, he was distracted. Like, he didn't have his armor on.
Well,
He was
he
giving
didn't have
a
his helmet on. That's the big difference, right?
yeah.
The helmet was the big piece, and also the fact too he was in his house. He had just told the police to go away, so he knows the police are surrounding. Why would he think somebody's breaking through the window?
Hmm. There are so many factors where it's like he very much could have gotten stuck up on, and that's what happened.
Correct, especially for somebody who's as chaotic and cuckoo as Vigilante.
Yep,
I
absolutely,
also want to know what happens to that Vigilante, which we'll talk about in 2 seconds,
absolutely, absolutely.
because they make it seem like it's all cleared up. So did he escape or did he get captured, killed? I want to know.
I don't think they've cleared up anything. I think they've left it very ambiguous. Like,
Well, all right, let me rephrase it this way. Where he's last seen was with Keith's body, and then we see Keith in the ambulance. So they had to have cleared out the building.
sorry, I misunderstood. What I thought you meant, like they made it clear
Oh,
what
okay,
happened.
no. Sorry. No, they cleared the building clearly, is what I
Okay,
meant.
yeah,
So like we don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
Um,
That's why I said, like, I don't think I know what happened whatsoever. What are you talking about?
no, we don't. That's the problem. But we know they went in and got his body, which means Vigilante had to have been either spotted or escaped. And I,
Well, we knew he was spotted because last we saw him, he was
well,
holding
that's
off
why I
the
said this. We're
cops.
like, but yes, but I mean, like, did he?
So he's either dead or somehow escaped, and it's like I feel like he escaped because of, like we said, comics. You don't see someone dead, you can't trust it. So I think he's escaped. It's just I'm curious if they'll show us how he did.
I my thought is it's going to be like an after credit scene, maybe, only because hear me out, to like get us psyched for like what's to come, because based on all this right now, this is potentially going to be season 3.
Yep, absolutely.
Because so anyway, so the idea is the police start. Oh, so Captain Triumph decides to go on or try to go on a murderous rampage, fails. Um, they start running away to get into the portal to get out of there. The police come in. The vigilantes start taking out police officers left and right. They then, excuse me, they're then trying to go in. Peacemaker goes to go in after seeing like a portrait of his dad, but then we see Captain Triumph blast through the door or the wall, I should say, come in and just beat Chris down until everyone, including Judo Master, helps to try to kill Captain Triumph, and we just see Chris break down crying, like let him go. Like what are we? Like we need to get out of
Yep.
here now. We're the
and
problem.
no he
Oh, he's
well
saying
no
it's the problem.
he's the
He's the
problem.
problem.
He everything he touches ends up getting destroyed. He didn't want them hurting his family because he's witnessing his brother die again.
Mhm.
And he blames himself. So
Correct.
it you understand where he's coming from. Like
Oh,
with
absolutely.
how broken this guy is, it is so understandable with what he's going through.
Mhm.
And the one person that could pull him out of it is Adebayo, which is absolutely fantastic. She
No,
pulls him
100%,
away.
100%.
She's carrying him through the twisted dimensions. And
Pocket dimension, but I'll give it to you.
thank you. I didn't remember what the right word was, so I just said the first thing coming to my head.
Well,
Um,
they're at
and
least as of right now calling it a pocket dimension.
yeah, and the last thing we see of the other universe is Harcourt saying that she can't allow uh Keith to recover and come after, figure out a way to
Such
open
a
the portal again
foreshadowing.
and come after him. Yep. She pulls the trigger.
No, she
Then
doesn't.
Vigilant. No, she does. Almost positive she did.
She couldn't pull the trigger. They began to open fire on them.
I thought she pulled the trigger and that's when they rounded the corner and it started attacking her and that's when Vigilante
She
pushed
did
her
not.
into the portal.
No, she jumped her. So the whole. So part of the whole issue was because I had to watch this twice.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to shoot him, doesn't get a chance to because then they begin to open fire. She jumps out of the way to avoid it while Vigilante starts opening fire on them. She then goes to
And
shoot him as through the while she's going through the portal. However, Vigilante kicks the door shut and begins to, and then we don't know what happens from there. So she never actually shoots him.
all right, well, I mean, I have to trust you because you've seen it twice. So
Because she would have not missed. She would not have missed, and she would have killed him.
I thought because when we saw him on the stretcher at the end, his eye was gone. So I thought she
No,
shot him in the eye, and his anger is literally like keeping him alive, looking for a revenge.
no.
That's all right. Well, I mean, I am I'm watching it again just so that way I know what just so that way I see what you saw. Um, but yeah, continue. And once I get to that part, I'll chime in. Unless you have nothing else to talk about. Oh, are you watching it now too? I'll take I'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
Oh, and I loved the detective being back. I like
That
him.
was a nice one. That was a nice one. Hardcore did not shoot Captain Triumph in the second season of Peacemaker. After Captain Triumph was defeated by Peacemaker and his allies, she pointed the gun at him, but chose to. Well, she didn't choose to spare his life. That is incorrect.
Yeah, I don't really trust that one. Definitely do not trust let's see. If we get a zoom in on his face, because
No, his eye
that's
is
like the
swollen.
big
His
thing.
eye is swollen.
Yeah, because that's like my big thing is
I'm not disagreeing about the eye thing, but the eye thing was because of just the beatdown he took.
no, no. When we were doing the flashbacks, both his eyes were perfectly fine. His eye was a little swollen, but it wasn't as swollen as what we saw on the stretcher.
No, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree. I'm agreeing with you on that piece. But also, time has happened and it swells up more as time goes on.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess I understand that part.
Yeah, so sit down and shut up.
I
So,
swore I thought I saw a flash.
nope.
But anyways, yeah. Now
Yeah.
continue because I'm.
So she wasn't sparing his life, at least not on purpose. I'll say that. We
I
know that
mean,
for a fact.
I'm still watching it.
Oh, have you made it to the?
They're running through the portal right now.
All right, well, hurry up because I wanna because
Keep
this is
talking.
no.
Go.
This determines what I say next, Michael.
Oh my goodness.
So see them running as fast as they can, and then the door shuts and they're free. So they think.
So they
Argus.
think exactly.
Well, because the idea is Argus surrounds Vigilante's house, which the timing is hilarious every time.
Oh yeah, they choose their moments perfectly.
Um, and the group comes out to meet with Argus and Peacemaker. Oh, so Judo Master goes with the group of Argus, and basically Peacemaker throws the device and says that's the dimensional portal. Um, everyone here convinced me to give
Oh,
it back to you.
okay. Nope, she did. Yep, she did not pull the trigger. And yes, she did try to shoot him, but he was not in range. Like he wasn't even in the vicinity of the door.
I that was the one thing I couldn't remember was did she even have a shot when she was going
Yeah,
to do it? Because I couldn't
no,
remember that one, but that makes sense too. Because I do remember just Vigilante just kicking the door shut.
yeah.
Um,
And but Keith wasn't in the door frame, so
right.
that's why she never pulled the trigger.
So anyways,
It's so interesting because even like like yeah, I guess maybe with like you said over time the eye swells up, but like just even when she was pointing the gun and we saw his face, like his eyes were fine. So I'm like it
yeah,
looked
but
like he got shot.
no, it wouldn't. It didn't look like a gunshot wound. I knew that for a fact.
Yeah.
Um, it was more of just like he got into a fist fight and his eye got swollen, which is more what happened than anything else.
Yeah, I mean that is literally what happened. So
So so they go back there. Peacemaker gets arrested, and that's how the episode ends. Actually, with him just getting arrested.
he gets arrested and he takes the fall for everybody.
I
He
said
says
that.
that. Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Yeah. So what I had said was he had stated that they all convinced him to turn himself in and give the portal, and Judo Master agreed, and so he was taken alone.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. My apologies.
That's all right. You were just trying to prove me wrong, and you couldn't twice, so it's fine.
I mean, at this point, I just want to see what his eye looks like.
Swollen. It's swollen shut.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it looked like it didn't really look swollen. It just he couldn't open it from that. But yeah,
Well, because of it being swollen, like it wasn't like something that was so swollen, like
yeah,
it
it
was,
wasn't
but it
like
was like,
fully.
but it was swollen enough that he couldn't open his eye.
Yeah. And then the other thing too was the other thing that actually confused me too was with there were 2 points on his face that it looked to when I first watched it that looked like he had gotten shot. It was the eye, and then there was like a giant hole in the middle of his head. So
Yeah,
that's the
no, I'm not disagreeing with that. That was weird too, but we also don't know what fully happened in there after.
exactly. Yep.
So like,
So
I don't,
that's
yeah, there's a lot of things that could have happened.
there
Um,
was a lot of ambiguous things that happened behind the scenes that we didn't get
well, because
information on. Which,
there could have been technically a fight between Vigilante and him.
yep. What I'm going to say is that if this is like a season 3 story, like I'm
We're gonna
sure that
figure
we're gonna get
we're
like
gonna
a
get to it.
recap of what happened on their end. So
Yeah, at some point. I don't think it'd be right away, but I do believe we're going to be getting one. So,
yeah,
yeah, very curious on that one, but we'll figure that out as time goes on. But that was pretty much it. So next episode is the season finale. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. I mean, the only thing that makes sense to me, well, I saw the next up, so I can't actually say anything without ruining it.
I
So
was
I
gonna say
but
you're literally gonna say
no, that's why I stopped myself because I was like, I can't say it because it's not a guess. I know.
Yep. No, I mean they're gonna go. Argus is gonna go into the portal.
Well, I was gonna
They're
say too,
gonna.
like, so the idea is they're gonna go through the portal. They're gonna try to, like, I would imagine, look at other universes or attempt to,
Yep.
and then obviously interrogate Chris, and like those are the
Yep.
main things. Other than that, we really know very little. Um,
We're gonna see the giant crab skeleton face
oh, so
things.
you saw it too?
That was in one of the trailers.
Oh, well, yeah, that was also in the. That was also in the most recent trailer too. So yeah,
It was
I
the
forgot
only
that.
thing that we haven't really seen yet, so I'm just like I've been waiting for it the entire
Oh,
time.
so they. Oh yeah, so they do. Yeah, so in the trailer that I saw recently, they show, just so you know, and this doesn't really ruin anything. They go to
Yeah,
multiple universes, which shouldn't be that shocking.
which I expected.
No, no, absolutely. But I saw what some of the other ones look like. So that one was just one of a few that I saw. So I just
Yep,
took it as they're all new, forgetting that, oh, that's right, we saw that one already.
yep. I don't remember, but the internet has named the skeleton crab thing that we saw. I forget its name, but I think it's like Jason or something. So it's funny.
It's, yeah, who knows what we're going to be getting. But anyway, we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, Argus is going to screw up big time, so I cannot wait for that. But for now,
Yep.
let us get into my character spotlight. So I'm doing a character spotlight on a character that only was existing for 2 years,
Oh,
from 2021 to 2023, I believe. Yep, I'm correct.
yeah. So brand new character.
And dead. Um, their name is Binary. Now, Binary is normally the alter ego of Carol Danvers when she ignites her full power, right?
Hmm.
However, there was a character that was made called Binary in 2021. Okay, so what happens is when Captain Marvel was trapped inside of a Faraday cage, specifically designed by Vox Supreme to repel her energy powers, she attempted to manipulate her photon blast differently, inspired by none other than Monica Rambeau's power usage. As a result, by recalling her period as the mighty cosmic hero, Binary, she shaped her energy into a duplicate who managed to release her from her enclosure. After reabsorbing the energy duplicate, Captain Marvel had no choice but to conjure her another time after being kidnapped by the Vox Supreme once again. Teaming up with Fela Vel, the mute energy form clashed with the Supreme and broke Captain Marvel free. Captain Marvel theorized that by the contact with the Supreme's headquarters on a distant planet nourished the Phoenix Force and revitalized through the original Captain Marvel's dead body. Her energy gained sentience. After being in physical contact with Captain Marvel, the energy form adopted by the binary visionary visual identity and joined Captain Marvel and her friends to stop the Vox Supreme's army. During an invasion of a rogue group of Brood, Binary fought them alongside Carol Danvers and some of the members of the X-Men. However, this energy contract was killed by their Empress. But in her final moments, Binary encouraged Carol to take down the Brood herself. So one of the big things here is that was all her story, and there's a reason. There's multiple reasons why I'm bringing her up. We'll talk about in a minute. Her personality was originally just an energy construct, so it had no personality whatsoever. However, once it simulated parts of Danvers's memories and recognized by others to be similar to her template. However, because she was just made of energy, she was never able to communicate verbally.
So
A
like
lot of
so like the when binary became a being, it couldn't talk to anybody.
So like it never could talk to anybody to begin with because it was just a form of energy, but then it gained
Yep.
sentience and still couldn't talk to people like verbally. Apparently there were ways it was able to kind of communicate. However, it seemed to be more of like energy, and Carol seemed to be the only one to fully understand her because same powers, same feelings, you know?
It's the same. It's technically same being kind of situation. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And the weird thing is this being had the same powers as binary. So unlimited amounts of photon energy, superhuman strength, speed, durability, which is weird to think about because she's only energy.
Hmm.
I just find that interesting to have all that stuff and still, you know what I mean? Like have that
Yeah.
power to kind of physical power, I should say, not so much the energy power. Definitely makes sense for the energy. So I know what you're thinking. Well, Scott, why are you talking about this? What does this matter? Well, Mike, apparently, the in the comics, guess what? There's going to be a new host to the Phoenix Force, and guess who it's going to be?
Assuming Captain Marvel.
Correct.
That's cool.
And most
That's
likely
interesting.
going to be which is going to be interesting because her powers on its own are like Phoenix kind of related, minus the psychic energy,
Hmm.
obviously. So it'd be very interesting to see the two of them combined because I feel like we're going to be seeing more of like a binary in that situation than Carol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. So that'll be interesting to see. But I thought it was interesting. It was a quick little thing. It's a character that wasn't really a character, but has earned a spot in the Marvel universe by being an energy construct that was gained sentience, which I thought was kind of interesting. Didn't last long. Lasted from December of 2021 to I believe early 2023. Now that I think about it, scroll up. I just want to make sure I get the dates right. Not that it really truly matters at this point.
Either way, it was a short-lived
Come on.
situation.
There we Yeah, April of 2023. I was just curious for myself. It was just interesting. So it went from number 34 to number 48. That's how long they lasted. So, 14 issues. I think that's the
Which is
shortest run
actually a
Marvel's ever
decent.
done.
That's a decent run. I mean, for like
No, but I meant
for a one-time comic.
no, but I think that's also like the shortest character I've ever done. Because normally, like,
Oh, I
even
agree.
though they don't have many comic issues, they lasted many, many years. So this was all at
There's
once.
still a
So
lot,
it's like
or like they pop up from time to time.
that's
Um,
what I mean. Like they although they might have the same number of issues, maybe the idea is that they has to last to the test of time. But
yeah.
very interested to think about to kind of go further with. But for now, that's going to be it from me. So next week we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Gen V, talking about the season finale of Peacemaker, any trailers that come out, and a character spotlight from Mike. So please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Heel Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.